Hi, my name is Phil. I like to talk about politics. In this video, I'd like to discuss a couple of disastrous interviews from the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, yesterday on behalf of the government when he made the government look, if anything, even more racist than was being suggested at the time. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, in two different interviews that I saw, one with Sky News, one on the BBC with Andrew Marr, Hancock was asked about the lack of representation of black MPs in Cabinet, and did he make a right arse of it. I mean, it comes to something when a Conservative MP becomes unstuck on the Andrew Marr show, for those who don't know, famously very, very kind to Conservatives. And the thing is, there was no need for it at all. The question was, of course, loaded, but it was actually relatively straightforward for him to answer. Now, with Sophie Ridge on Sky News, for example, he was asked the simple question, how many black MPs are there in Cabinet? That was it. The answer is none. Now, what he did is he tried to talk about representation of black and ethnic minorities in Cabinet, because there are some Asian members. But that really just made it worse. Now, I also have to say, as a little aside on a personal level, I really don't like the phrase black and ethnic minorities, because it's a bit of a head scratcher to me. Maybe someone can help me out. Black and ethnic minorities? I mean, does that imply that being black means you're not an ethnic minority? So you have to have them as two separate categories there? Well, that's not the case. Or is the term meant to play down the importance of other ethnic minorities? Like there's black ethnic minorities, very, very important. And then there's the other. There's some others as well. They're not really that important. And to be separated like that? I mean, in the UK, Asian people outnumber black people by some margin. I mean, different countries have different demographics. America, very, very different. In this country, yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's my little bugbear, though. That's just me. I don't have a pop at anyone using the term. Just a really weird one for me. But the point is, if Matt Hancock had just answered the question, if he'd have just said, do you know what? There aren't any at the moment. There have been in the past. There aren't any right now. But if you look at the distribution of ethnic minorities in Cabinet, I think you'll find it's greater than the representation in the country at large. Had he done that, then he would have got away with it. Now, because there's two problems with what he did. The first of all is he clearly wasn't answering the question. It was a very simple question as well. You know, it was quite a good question from Sophie Ridge. The only criticism I would have of her is that she didn't keep reminding him he wasn't answering the question. She kept asking the question, but didn't point out, actually, she should have just said when he, wasn't answering it, sorry, Minister, I'm asking a question that just needs a numerical answer. How many black MPs are there in Cabinet? Then we can talk about what you want to talk about. Can you just answer me that one question? Because he wouldn't answer it, there's only one time when you won't answer a simple question. And this was a simple question. It was a number. And it's a number he must know about, because he's been asked about his own colleagues. He's not been asked about statistics that he might not know. This is his own close colleagues. It's like asking about how many black people in the office that you work in. That's it. And he knew the answer. He knew the answer would be zero. And he didn't say it. Why didn't he say it? There's an implication, if you won't answer a simple question, that it's because you know that the answer is not a good one and doesn't reflect well on you. In other words, he was very, very defensive, as if government have got something to be ashamed about. Whereas, like I say, if I just show some pie charts here on diversity. So I've got three here. I'm comparing with Labour just to show as well. So on these pie charts, I've got it for the Conservative Cabinet, the equivalent shadow cabinet for Labour, and then UK in general. So the blue section, the writing's a bit small, the blue section is white. I mean, the UK is overwhelmingly white. More so than in the US, I believe. Much more so than the US, I believe. We are white. But, and the orange slice is for Asian Britons, and the grey slice is for black. And you can see, both Labour and the Conservatives, if you look in their front bench, there's a greater proportion of ethnic minorities than the country at large. The Conservatives could have gone down that road. Now, the question was specifically about black MPs, and Sophie Ridge made it clear the reason for this is that even in this country, in Britain, black people are I think she said something like more than 3 times as likely to be pulled over by the police than, say, an Asian. We're not even talking white here. Asian British people. And the stats like that. And they tend to do less well in school, things like this. So just like in America, black people in Britain are very devalued as a population. So we have the same levels of racism. So it's absolutely a fair question. And there wasn't a good answer to it, but he should have answered it and moved on, because otherwise it just looks really, really bad. So what's basically been pointed out now is that now you go away from that interview and people aren't going to look this up. I've looked this up, just to be fair. A lot of people are. So a lot of people would have gone away from that thinking, well, Cabinet's not very diverse, is it? Not very diverse at all. Won't even answer that simple question. Must be bad. I have to say, though, there is one minority that is very well represented in the Tory cabinet. We've got to be fair here. We've got to be balanced. They like balance. So I also had a little sneaky look at gender, and I did the same thing. UK Tory party, Tory cabinet, sorry, not the party, Tory cabinet, and the Labour front bench as well. And have a look at this. So if you look at in the UK, this is basically, this data is based on the last census, which was 2011. So, you know, that's going to be refreshed next year. That's the latest data we have. And you can actually see that the women outnumber men in the UK. So actually, we're a minority. Men are a minority. You can see the Tories do terribly well, because almost all their members of cabinet are men. Labour, rubbish. You've got over half of them as women. So that is one minority that is very well served in the Conservative government. I'm surprised Matt Hancock didn't try and come out with that one, going, yeah, we're okay. We haven't got any black members of cabinet. But, you know, and he could have, honestly, he could have gone. But, you know, if you look at ethnic minorities as a group, it's you know, greater than the general population. And actually, I think you'll find there's one minority we've got loads of. We've got loads of men in there. He didn't try that one, funnily enough. And one final little point that was repeated. When he was trying to excuse the lack of diversity along ethnic lines in cabinet, he said that what's important was diversity of thought. This was a phrase that a lot of people have cottoned onto as well, going, what? Diversity of thought? My take on this is, I would immediately say to this, if he tried this on me, okay, you are saying that there's a lot of diversity of thought in cabinet. Okay then. So how come government are constantly at pains to tell us how all of the members of that cabinet constantly agree on everything? Whenever, you know, reporters ask questions about, oh, there seems to be a bit of a difference of opinion in cabinet there, they always go, no, we all agree. Not really what I would call even diversity of thought, that one, is it? But anyway, those are my thoughts on the subject. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.